My name is Jacob, and I'm here to read the first book of Adam and Eve with you guys. I'm going to read the first 3 chapters today. I might do them in chapters of 3 at first, and then, as I get better with my reading, it'll go up more. But right now, I'm not that good at reading these types of stories, so, bear with me. So, hope you guys love it. On the third day, Elohim planted the garden in the east of the earth, on the border of the world, eastward beyond which towards the sun rising, one finds nothing but water that encompasses the whole world, and reaches unto the borders of heaven. And on the north of the garden, there is a sea of wafer, clear and pure to the taste, like unto nothing else, so that through the clearness thereof, one may look into the depths of the earth. And when a man washes himself in it, becomes clean of the cleanness thereof, and white of his whiteness, even if he were dark. And Elohim created that sea of his own good pleasure, for he knew what would come of man that he should make, so that after he had left the garden on account of his transgression, men should be born in the earth, from among whom righteous ones should die, whose souls Elohim would raise at the last day, when they should return to their flesh, should bathe in the water of that sea, and all of them repent of their sins. But when Elohim made Adam go out of the garden, he did not place him on the border of it northward, lest he should draw near to the sea of water. And he and Eve washed themselves in it, be cleansed of their sins, forget the transgressions they had committed. And he no longer reminded of it in the thought of their punishment. Then again, as to the southern side of the garden, Yah was not pleased to let Adam dwell there, because when the wind blew from the north, it would bring him on that southern side the delicious smell of the trees of the garden. Therefore Elohim did not put Adam there, lest he should smell the sweet smell of those trees, forget his transgression, and find consolation for what he had done. Take delight in the smells of the trees, and not be cleansed of his transgressions. Again, also, because Elohim is merciful and of great pity, and governs all things in the way he only knows, he made our father Adam dwell in the western border of the garden, because on that side of the earth it was very broad. And Elohim commanded him to dwell there, in a cave or rock of the cave of treasures, below the garden. Chapter 2. But when Adam and Eve went out of the garden, they trod the ground on their feet, not knowing that they were treading. And when they came to the opening of the gate of the garden, and saw the broad earth spread before them, covered with stones large and small, and with sand, they feared and trembled, and fell on their faces, from the fear that came upon them, and they were as dead. Because whereas they had hitherto been in the garden land, beautifully planted with all manner of trees, they now saw themselves in a strange land, which they knew not, and had never seen. And because of that time, they were filled with the grace of a bright nature, and they had not hearts turned towards earthly things. Therefore had Elohim pity on them. And when he saw them fallen before the gate of the garden, he sent his word unto Father Adam and Eve, and raised them from their fallen state. One thing that got me from this one is that last verse, how the Most High sent his word to go pick up Adam and Eve from their fallen state. And we all know who the word is. The word is Yeshua. Yeshua is the living word. You know what I'm saying? So back then, I remember one passage, I forgot what it was, but he told the Pharisees or something. He told somebody, before Abraham was, I am. Something like that. He said that. And that just reminds me of all that Yeshua was there before even all of that. Hallelujah. This is the 3rd chapter, you guys. Here we go. Elohim said to Adam, I have ordained on this earth years and days, and thou and thy seed shall dwell and walk in it, until the days and years are fulfilled, when I shall send the word that created thee, and against whom you have transgressed, the word that made thee come out of the garden, and that raised thee when thou wast fallen. Yea, the word that will again save thee when the 5.5 days are fulfilled. But when Adam heard these words from Elohim of the great 5.5, he did not understand the meaning of them. And Adam was thinking that there would be 5 days and a half for him until the end of the world. And Adam wept and prayed to Elohim to explain it to him. Then the Elohim had mercy on him, and Adam, who was made after his own image and similitude, explained to him that these were 5,500 years, and how one would come and save him and his seed. But Elohim had before that made this covenant with our father Adam in the same terms before he came out of the garden, when he was by the tree whereof Eve took the fruit and gave it to him to eat. Inasmuch when our father Adam came out of the garden, he passed by the tree and saw how Elohim had then changed the appearance of it into another form, and how it withered. And as Adam went to it, he feared, trembled, and fell down. But Elohim in his mercy lifted him up, and then made the covenant with him. And again, when Adam was by the gate of the garden, and saw the cherub with the sword of flashing fire in his hand, and the cherub grew angry and frowned at him, both Adam and Eve became afraid of him, and thought that he meant to put them to death. So they fell on their faces and trembled with fear. But he had pity on them, and showed them mercy, and turned from them, and went up to heaven, and prayed to Yahuwah, and said, Yahuwah, thou didst send me to watch the gate of the garden with the sword of fire. But when thy servant Adam and Eve saw me, they fell on their faces, and were as dead. O Yahuwah, what shall we do with thy servants? Then Elohim had pity on them, and showed them mercy, and sent his angel to keep the garden. And the word of Yahuwah came unto Adam and Eve, and raised them up. And Yahuwah said to Adam, I told thee that at the end of the 5 days and a half, I will send my word and have to save thee. Strengthen thy heart, therefore, and abide in the cave of treasures, of which I before spoken to thee. And Adam heard these words, he was comforted with which Elohim had told him, for he told him how he would save him. And you guys, that is chapter 3. Hope you guys enjoy. Stay tuned next week for chapter 3 through 6, or 4 through 6, or 7. Just the next 3 chapters. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys get something from it. And I hope you guys were able to understand by the way I was reading. Shalom.